While I'm saddling her up, I want to talk a little bit about separating work and home. And this comes into play with a lot of people. It did for me, and I think it does with a lot of people that have a hobby that they really enjoy doing, and they know that they can do a little bit and have that hobby make a little bit of money and help pay for their hobby. And people do it that have horses. You can do it with sewing, you can do it with woodworking, just about anything. You can turn just about any hobby into a job. But the problem with turning your hobby into a job is it's not your hobby anymore. It is now a job, and you have to treat it as a job. And when you do that, you don't get the same pleasure out of it that you used to do, that you used to get back when it was a hobby. I came across this, or this happened with me. I never really intended on being a horse trainer. That was my hobby. And I had people starting to come to me asking me how to help their horse, and it just kind of turned into a job. And at one point, I almost completely quit riding because the hobby that I used to get a lot of pleasure out of was now my job, and it wasn't fun anymore. If you have a hobby that you're kind of working as a job part-time or has become your full-time job, put down in the comments. Tell me what that hobby is. I mean, you can turn just about any hobby into a job. And in my situation, when I did that, it just wasn't fun anymore. And I almost quit riding horses completely because of it. But what I did to still enjoy the hobby that I enjoy is I made some definite distinctions. When I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm at home, I'm at home. And I don't mix the two. I make sure that I keep pretty strict separation of work and home hours. And I still do the horse stuff that I enjoyed as a hobby, and I keep it that way. I enjoy showing horses, and when I take a horse to a show, to show serious to win, like with Hank, I try to keep that as a hobby. I try to not mix work and hobby together, and that is the separation that I have come up with, so that I have been able to turn my hobby into a job and still get the enjoyment out of the hobby that I used to. It's really easy to turn your hobby into a job and just lose interest and never want to do it again. And when that happens, you almost feel lost. That's how I was when I was at that stage. I didn't know what to do, and it took a while for me to figure out what I needed to do to keep that distinction between work and home. It just so happens that my work is what most people's hobby is. And most people want to come ride on the weekends and want to come ride in the evenings. And that's when they're available for lessons, because it's their hobby, but it's my job. And as a trainer, if I don't manage all of that, that job really starts to take over my life, and I don't have any off time. So that if you have a hobby that you've turned into your job, make sure you still keep some separation of enjoyment in your hobby. That's really important, whether it's horses or anything. It could be horses, fishing, woodworking, whatever. So if you tell me about your situation with you turning your hobby into a job, what was it like for you? Did you reach a point to where it just wasn't fun anymore and you felt like you lost your hobby? Tell me about that in the comments below.